welcome for this month's edition of the SIHI Talks. This edition is again extra special because we are co-organizing this with one of our hubs, the SIHI India Hub, the DERBI Foundation. Thank you very much, DERBI Foundation, for co-organizing it with this session with the SIHI Secretariat. So our session today is titled Scaling Up Digital Social Innovations for Health. And we're privileged today and we're featuring two of our startup founders from India. And we are really excited to hear about their experiences in terms of scaling up and then and their experiences in collaboration and partnerships. I am Artong Keko, the SIHI Secretariat Partnerships Coordinator and co-leading the Secretariat and the Philippines Hub with Dr. Meredith Labarda. To those new in the SIHI network, we are delighted to welcome you on board. SIHI, which we pronounce as SIHI, stands for Social Innovation in Health Initiative, and we were launched in 2014 and dream of a better and healthier world through social innovations. We do this through research, capacity building, and advocacy. Welcome also to those who are already part of the network, our various implementing partners and the university-based SIHI hubs, and for finding time to join us today. So as you all know, SIHI Talks is a series of webinars that showcase the work of the SIHI hubs, our existing partners, as well as other potential partners. So the main goal is to foster collaboration and intersectoral partnerships to leverage each other's strengths and resources to hopefully build a more socially innovative, empowered citizens and communities. So without further ado, I would like to call on the virtual floor, Jagan, to introduce our speakers.
Okay. So thank you, Art. Thanks for the brief introduction and setting up the platform. So myself, Jagan, I work as program lead at DERBI Foundation. So we are India Hub for SIHI. And so we have DERBI Foundation has supported more than 100 plus innovations in the healthcare space in last 3 years. So we work with both central and then the state governments and then few funding agencies to support innovators who are developing amazing solutions in the healthcare space. And today we have two speakers for the who build great products. And then I'll be introducing them, and then I will also ask them to come and talk about their journey. So first, I would like to introduce Nishant. Nishant is the founder and CEO of Ayati Devices. He was born and brought up in China, in Haryana, and he did his electronics, and also he has done his master's in VLSI, Embedded Systems from IIT Bombay. He has more than 6 years of experience in the product designs and development, and he is also co-founder or he also built this company and working in Ayati for the last 5 to 6 years. So their mission is to bring technological advances in the healthcare and address its challenges. So currently there is a lack in accurate and early detection of peripheral nerve images. So Ayati wants to address this challenge and are committed to understanding the repercussions of uncontrolled diabetics and helping improve the lives of people with diabetics. So these guys have built amazing platform, and it's a wonderful team. So I work with them very closely. And now I over to you, Nishant, to talk about your journey and then take the platform.
Thank you, Jagan. Thanks for the introduction. You are so kind and humble. Yeah, just give me 2 minutes. Is the screen visible?
Yes, yes. Please continue.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Nishant Katpal, CEO and co-founder of Ayati Devices. We are healthcare startup with major focus on diabetes and its complication. Actually, this started as a part of my course project at IIT Bombay, where we were working on a problem called diabetic foot. And later on realized that 3 of my family members are also severely affected with this problem. So that's what motivated me to, start working full time on this. So before going ahead, let me explain the problem first. Every 30 seconds, there is one amputation happening, and more than 400 million diabetic patients are prone to this problem. What happens in short? Diabetes leads to sensory nerve damage at the extremities, which is known as neuropathy. Because of that, patient feel no pain even if the foot is injured. Those injuries leads to ulcers, gangrene, and eventually amputation, ranging from toe to the entire leg. Every time a patient undergoes surgery, he need to spend at least 2,000 US dollar, which is a 5-year average income of any average Indian. The good news here is 85% of these amputations can be avoided if foot screening happens at an early stage and accurately. So there are 3 major complications if we dig further into diabetic foot. The first is vascular disease, in which blood flow gets affected. The second is autonomic dysfunction, in which skin becomes dry. There'll be cracks on those skin, and those cracks leads to injury, ulcers, and gangrene, and finally amputation. But the third major cause is somatic dysfunction, in which any injury occurs that the patient lose the sensation and they don't feel any pain for that injury. They become careless, and those injuries leads to ulcers, gangrene, and eventually amputation. So this is the area where up to 80% of the patients get affected, and Ayati devices is targeting the same. There are other causes for neuropathy also. This diabetes is not the only one, but more than 80% it comes from diabetes itself. The other causes are chemotherapy, vitiligo, multiple sclerosis, HIV, traumatic injuries, and other vitamin deficiencies. So let me present our product that solves this problem is VibraSense. This is portable, battery-powered, and handheld device that screens diabetic patients for foot neuropathy at an early stage and prevent foot amputation. So it has a probe that generates vibration as a controlled stimulus, need to be applied at 5 or 6 high pressure points of the foot. Hello?
Yes, Nishan, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, so it need to be applied at 5 or 6 high pressure points of the foot, and it has also onboard the display that shows the severity on the go. Now we need to increase the stimulus until the patient start perceiving it. So as soon as the patient start perceiving it, the display shows the recorded value. It connects with the mobile application via Bluetooth and generates a report as shown on the screen. So on the left hand side, you can see the colored report starting from blue color to the red color. So as soon as the severity goes high, the color changes from blue to the red region. And it is also a better format to understand the report by the patient. So now the earlier what the problem was, the patient does not understand about the values that they are getting. Now they have better understanding about the report. So any red region, if they get spotted, they come to the doctor again after 2-3 months, ask the doctor to do the test again whether that red spot is removed or not. So through these kind of reports, we are increasing the awareness among the patient. On the right hand side, it also shows the history of the patient right from very first visit. So suppose the patient has visited 2 years back, and he is continuously visiting after every 3 months of interval. So the doctor actually can see the graph whether the patient is progressing towards severe neuropathy or not. So if he is progressing towards severe neuropathy, the patient need to be provided the preventive treatment to prolong the disease. If the patient crosses the severe milestone, then there is no treatment or there is no medicine that can save the patient from losing the leg. So our facility is ISO 13485 certified facility. VibraSense is approved in India. It has got CE approval also, and FDA is already in process. Within 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be getting the FDA done. So we have deployed more than 2,000 devices across the country, screened more than 200,000 patients. We have also started supplying to UAE, South Africa region, Latin America, Brazil as our initial export. So that's the introduction of the device.
Sinusoidal technology to produce controlled vibration stimulus to quantify the perception thresholds. The onboard display shows the severity level of the foot, and long battery life lets you screen more than 70 patients with a single charge. Its quick learning curve eliminates the need of trained professionals, and easy portability lets you screen patients on the go in rural areas, screening camps, and OPTs. Our advanced algorithm diagnoses patients early on multiple parameters and even auto-generates reports, ensuring you don't spend more than 5 minutes for each patient. VIBRASENSE increases productivity and revenue, which keeps you ahead of everyone else. Get in touch with us right now to book.
So these were the few available options earlier before VibraSense. So the first was monofilament, the second is tip thumb, and the third one is VibraTip. So all these three devices were qualitative in nature. They don't give any quantification of the severity level. So we cannot track the progress of the patient also. So monofilament, that produces pressure sensation, and we ask the patient whether they are feeling it or not. If they are not feeling, the patient is directly, considered as the severe category. Same in tip thumb and VibraTip. So the nearest, neighbor for us is biothesometer, that also quantify vibration perception threshold. But the problem with this is it's a big box. That's a 3 kg device that require one extra space, extra bed on which the patient will be lied down, and there will be requirement of 2 technicians. One is taking the reading and second one is for recording purpose. While our device is just a 300-gram device that's portable, that can be placed inside the pocket of the doctor. So when I found out that my family members are also affected with this problem, so I consulted multiple clinicians, physicians, and when we were discussing the major disadvantages of this is like they have huge queue of diabetic patient, and with biothesometer it takes more than 20 to 30 minutes for a single patient. They cannot screen all those patients. That is why my family members were unaware of this problem. So, and also if I talk about in India, there are 25,000 diabetologists and 70 million diabetic patients. So there was a need of a device that not only screen the patient in less than 10 minutes, but also can bridge the gap between doctors and doctor to patient ratio in India. So that's where VibraSense came into picture. So since we want to reach to the last mile customers, if we place our customers on the y-axis and our value propositions on the x-axis, so our device is objective, is portable, provide early detection based on the graph, and it requires minimal resources. So our device is not only for the higher pyramid segment, that is diabetologists and podiatrists, but we can actually, it can be actually utilized by general practitioners and consulting physicians also. That is the first level of contact for diabetic patients. So how are we changing the status quo? We want, our mission was to reach to the last mile customer. So we tried to collaborate at multiple levels. The first level that we started with the clinics and hospitals. So the big hospital like Fortis are currently using our product. Now to, reach to the underserved segment also, and the government hospitals are serving the 2/3 of the population in India. So we tried to contact the PMC and other government hospitals. So with the help of BMC, now the device is deployed at multiple locations in Mumbai, and we have got 8 more locations where the devices will be deployed. The next level we targeted with the pharma companies. So these pharma companies used to conduct screening camps not only in urban but also at the remotest location in India. So we try to collaborate with them, and the big pharma companies, Sun Pharma, Lupin, Cipla, Alchem, Mankind, Emcure, and you name it, all are using our product for the screening camps. Then to expand more and to reach more and more people, we collaborated with NGOs like Ratnanidhi, and with the Nirame scheme with the government of Gujarat. We have conducted more. Now, since the COVID was there in the last 2 years, so we want to reach our customers. So what we did, we added a teleconsultation stack on top of our device, and now our device is compatible with teleconsultation platform. We have collaborated with Medtel and B2, and now the patient is in the remote location while the doctor is sitting in the urban location. Can consult that patient doesn't need to travel, and it also saves the money. So we have been part of multiple screening camps that includes by Government of Gujarat, Government of Maharashtra, again by NGOs, where we have screened more than 500 subjects, protected 1,000 plus foot, saved $2 million worth of US dollar expenditure that could be a burden on the patient. But I want to highlight here, with our current partners and clients, we have screened more than 200,000 patients till now. So this mission was joined by Pankaj Anchurkar, who is having 21 years of work experience in marketing and sales. Then we have been joined by Dr. Bhajish, who is MBBS doctor having 15 years of work experience in clinical trials, regulatory affairs of the product. We have got multiple achievements and awards, not only in India, but in international countries as well. We have got Best Startup Award in Spain, Switzerland, London. We have got the Best Startup Award in healthcare category at Indian IoT Congress, Bangalore. And just 2 to 3 weeks back, we have presented our innovations in US as well. So ending with our mission, that is to screen diabetic patients for foot neuropathy at an early stage and preventing foot amputation. But our vision is to become the world leader in providing first level of healthcare monitoring solutions for the masses. And by masses, we mean that the innovation that we are trying to come with, that should be affordable and accessible to all. And we are looking for partnering with more and more clients to expand our reach, either in terms of NGOs or in terms of distribution partners. And also we are looking for investment in terms of, investments in terms of funding to the company or in terms of CSR. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishant, for the elaborative talk of how you have grown and then what is your future goals. Now I would like to introduce Ria, so who is the co-founder of Neuphony. And she is alumnus of NTU Singapore and TUM Germany. And Ria is also a BTech graduate from IIT Noida. For over 4 years, Ria has been working as a development engineer, physical design to develop automotive microcontrollers at a German company. With a strong background in electronics and communications, she was struck with the idea to make a difference in the lives of the people due to an unfortunate occurrence in her personal life. And Neuphony uses to improve your focus and reduce your stress level. So Ria, I have not highlighted your personal stuff, so because I will leave it to you. And now over to you. You can continue.
Can I share my screen? Just 1 second.
Yes.
I hope everything.
Yes.
Hi everybody. My name is Ria. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Neuphony. And we have developed India and Asia Pacific's first smartwatch for your brain. And we are amongst the top 10 neurotech companies in the world. So now when we talk about mental health, we are a mental health wearable device. But one of the first things that would come to your mind is depression, trauma, therapy, neurological conditions, disorders. But that is not what all mental health is about. Mental health is about how you operate on a day-to-day basis. Recently, Deloitte India conducted a study where 4 out of 5 working professionals reported mental health issues. The early signs of which were concentration being affected, difficulty in completing tasks, unable to take important decisions. And this is what a person struggles in day to day. But the point is, how do we improve that? The solutions that we have today, there is no data when it comes to mental health. I need to improve my performance and concentration and focus levels. But from what? to where do I go with regards to quantification and validation? How should I improve my mental resilience? We quantify the calories that we intake, the macronutrients, the protein we eat on a day-to-day basis, the steps we walk. But behind all of this is a lot of benefits that come to your physical health. Similarly, we need to find the solution that works for you. Not one person who is listening to this would have the same health and same physical health as another person. Then why, when it comes to mental health, why do we say that you need to find your fit? You need to find the therapist that works for you. You need to find the meditation that works for you. Who do we choose from without data points? And this is where Neuphony comes into picture. Neuphony is a brain wearable device which monitors the electrical activity of your brain. And based on that, it recommends you meditation, music, and breathing techniques to improve your mental well-being. So this is the device. And in the mobile, it gets connected to your mobile application and it gives you a list of exercises to improve and train your brain. We can go to any applications app store and see how many games or how many different meditations there are. But how do we see if it's good for us or not? And we have a solution for that. You can see how your brain is performing during those sessions. You can see if it's creating a positive pattern, if it's creating a neutral pattern or a negative pattern. If it gives you the best possible result, then you start doing that meditation and that regime on a day-to-day basis. And over a period of time, you'll see that the baseline, your average score would improve over a period of time. We also see, we monitor your performance and increments from a daily to a weekly to a monthly basis, because many studies say that over 6 or 8 weeks of meditation, the gray matter in your brain increases. But as a common person, how do we really get convinced for that until and unless we see? And we believe that the real benefit of any technology or innovation comes when it's brought to the hands of the end consumer so that they are made more self-aware. We also have a desktop application with which you can monitor your real-time EEG, your band powers, which is your brain waves, theta, gamma. You can generate reports. So it's also used by counselors, coaches, psychotherapists, and also neuroscientists. The fact that it's so compact and user-friendly that multiple researches, past research can be promoted in this field. Now, what is the value of this data? Why do we need data? Now we monitor our glucose levels on a day-to-day basis, our steps on a day-to-day basis. And with that, we are able to take conscious decisions in our day-to-day life. But as humans right now, we don't spend even 10 minutes in brain training. We don't dedicate any time in our day-to-day life to improve our mental health, resilience, attention span. That is how you live your life. So we say that this is the data of a customer who was able to increase their score from 30% to 60% just by daily meditations and by right meditation, which works for your brain. And over the next 14 days, he was not only able to improve from 60 to 70, but you can also see a stability in the pattern. We have metrics such as mood, posterior dominant rhythm, which is basically like a blood pressure of your brain. If it's out of range, it asks you to go to a professional to seek advice. So the way is to build a proactive approach towards mental health. We have generated a revenue of almost 52 lakhs in the past 1 year, which was our first year of operations. We have a hardware desktop application. We have also created brain gyms. Brain gyms are centers in partnership with wellness and performance centers and psychotherapists, where you can go and train your brain. And officially, as of this end of this month, we will be present in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, and even Goa. So that makes us reach 15 cities. We also work with the best of the neuroscientists in India and abroad, from IISc, Sri Ravi Shankar, DRDO, NIMHANS, CDAC, to neurofeedback centers and neuroscientists in the Western countries. There is a startup in Bangalore who is using our product for stroke monitoring. So imagine that you are in a heart hospital, heart ICU, and your heart rate is not being monitored to give you the right intervention. Similarly, imagine there is in a stroke ICU, nothing is being monitored on a 24-hour basis. Within few minutes, you can have a stroke and go into epileptic seizures or have a paralysis attack. So that startup is developing interventions to make sure that nothing like this happens in the premises of a hospital. We also pass and individuals to provide workshops at a university and a corporate level. Just 2 days back, an employee jumped out of the Accenture building in Bangalore. We say that we care for our employees and students' mental well-being, but we are really not doing anything to take active actions to help them build self-awareness. We are giving them access to good food, good physical health, maybe a good chair. But what about the thing that we hire them for, their brain and their mental health? We as executives need to do something for their mental health and mental well-being. And that's why we are trying to bring all the research from the left of the presentation, which is neuroscientist, to the center, which is the psychotherapist and the wellness, and make it reach the end consumers through corporate university workshops. Me and Bhavya, the co-founder of this company, we are also married, fortunately. We have 4 amazing advisors in our company. From Europe, we have Ashutosh. From India, as finance, we have Shantanu. We have the original promoter of Gold Gym in India, who's a strategic advisor to us, G. Ramachandran sir. And then we have Dr. Jeff Tarrant, who teaches about the different meditation techniques and how they have really benefited people over the past 30 years. We have a very strong team of almost 15 to 17 people right now because we are hiring. And we raised the seed funding in 2021. We were bootstrapped until then. We raised a seed round of 2.5 CR at a 15 CR valuation from DERBI Foundation, Venture Center, IIM Ahmedabad, and our ventures. We're supported by Google as well as the top 10 female-led startups in Asia Pacific and the only one from India. We are currently raising a bridge round of $1 million US, and we have already more than 60% committed. Now we want to build a product which is economical and available to mass market. We've given values to psychotherapists, to neuroscientists, to end consumers, but it is a little expensive product and it's for the niche market. And I started this to help people. So now the goal is to make it affordable at somewhere around 150 to 200 US, making it the most affordable product in the world. And the last part of it is that why I started this and what was my personal journey around it. My elder sister was diagnosed with a brain infection and she was in a stroke ICU for 5 months. For 9 months, her condition was undiagnosed. And when she entered the hospital, within 3 to 5 days, she was in a stroke ICU, paralyzed in a coma condition. I think that there could be, it could have been avoided, at least the paralysis part of it, only if there was a way to monitor. I personally suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I know that being aware about it, understanding why I behave in certain situations, when I can get an anxiety attack and how to control it, gives me so much more power over myself and my thoughts. And I know how to train my brain to be able to pass through difficult circumstances. One very good example that I generally give is that as kids, our brain is like a bag. But as kids, we only put 2 things into it. Then as teenagers, we put maybe 5 or 7 things into it. But as an adult and how the complexities of life increase, we build 40 things into it. But we don't do anything to increase the size of the bag or make it stronger. And that is where neurofeedback and meditations really, really help. And it's one of the best techniques across countries, across different papers. But now we have to work on making this bag stronger and bigger so that we can be ready for the situations that come in our life. And the goal that we have for this company is that within 2 to 3 years, a person should wear Neuphony and we do their cognitive profiling. We can give early signs. It's like a blood profile, but for your brain, to detect if there is any chances of developing seizures, of developing Parkinson or memory loss, or having a chance that you might have PTSD. I was earlier only an anxious kid, but life threw a situation at me where I started getting PTSD attacks. So we want this device to tell you that you are borderline anxiety and you need to take care of it until something worse comes along. And that is the vision that we have created for this company. And thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Ria, for sharing your amazing journey. And thank you, Nishant, as well. Now I hand over the session to Art.
Thank you very much, Ria and Nishant. I mean, thank you for your passionate presentations, and you can really it really shows your passion about the work that you do. And truly, digital tools can empower patients and consequently the communities to take action, to take a more active role in their healthcare. So both technologies that we've seen today really enabled access to information, first and foremost, connect them to others, and allowing people to make informed decisions for their own healthcare. I think that's really my key takeaway for in both of the presentations. I suppose before we answer the question put forth by Luis Gabriel in the chat box, but yeah, maybe you can read that first. So he's asking about citations, or if these studies have been evaluated or researched independently. So before you answer that, I suppose I can jumpstart the panel discussion on the question on how do you see your technologies as social innovation in health? I mean, I can see now there are really key components in your implementation and the development of the devices that are really characteristically social innovation. Like, for example, the screening camps of Nishant, the partnership that you build with other sectors, Ria. So can you tell us more about on your journey on that, like building collaborations and partnerships with other institutions? What are the key lessons perhaps that you can share, especially that's really an unexplored area for you, right, when you started? So how did you start, like, contacting people and starting really build this partnerships to further develop your solutions? Who would like to go first?
Okay,
Hello?
I suppose Ria. Okay, go ahead, Ria.
For us, actually, we were based out of Germany when we were building this. And we moved to India last year. So how we started was we reaching out to everybody who was working in the space of EEG, understand their feedback, understand their limitations, their experiences. What would, if I as an engineer would give them like complete power of what they would want and what is the struggle and why this field is not growing. And we would gather their feedback, work with them very closely, spend time with them, understand their requirements, that why this field is growing at a limited pace at that time. Right now, it's growing amazingly with the number of devices that have come. So we reached out to neuroscientists, psychotherapists across nationalities to understand what is the difference also in Europe, US, and Asia when it comes to that. Because am I building a product only for one market? No, I decided that we'll be international since day one. I was an Indian company whose first order came from Germany. So in that particular scenario, we always focus on building it from India, but for the world. So we always made sure that we are very well connected and still connected, as you saw, even from our advisors. We have clients in all nationalities. It was a little difficult, to be honest, at the early stages, because we wanted them to send and somebody was saying the device is big enough. Somebody was saying my device is small enough based on the average head size of different nationalities. But this was a challenge that we decided to take because people with mental health issues and lack of awareness are there everywhere. I felt that I cannot limit myself to a nationality, in particularly when we are catering to. And we wanted to create an ecosystem and a platform. So that ways we connected with anybody who works in the space of brain, from meditation professionals to psychotherapists to neuroscientists, so that we can create a solution combining all of these three for the end consumer.
Thank you, Ria. So clearly, innovation is not developed in a vacuum. So, and then you can really enhance your technology or whatever it is that you ideas that you might have if you really ask immediately with your potential end users and get feedback. So an iterative process to innovation is
Exactly.
truly and clearly an important element to that. So thank you. Nishan, any other addition to that?
Yeah. So starting a medical device company for me was never a choice, Arthur. So it was started as a part of my course project, as I said in the presentation. So when we were working on there is a course called collaborative course in which, at, my university where engineers used to collaborate with the doctors and solve real life problems. So one of the doctor from hospital in Mumbai, she came with the problem called the diabetic foot, and I started working on the problem part, discussed with multiple clinicians, carried out multiple functional requirements that we need to target, and we worked on the prototype basically. But during COVID time, we worked from the home itself, right? So at that particular moment when we applied the prototype on my family members, so I realized that they are having the severe condition of neuropathy, but they are not even aware of. So that's what motivated me to start working in this particular area at that moment. And then when we started Ayati devices, so our approach was to use the innovative technological methods to solve those health problems that impose a high burden on healthcare systems. And our main focus as a company was diabetic foot. This condition can lead to serious complications including amputation, and is a major cause of disability and mortality among diabetic patients in India. So we are leveraging technology to address, the main contributors to this problem. One is peripheral neuropathy, and second is peripheral artery disease.
Thank you, Nishan, for that feedback. Luis Gabriel, would you like to verbalize your question or interact with our speakers? And we will be happy to hear from you if you're able to. So let me know if you are.
Thank you. Yes, I am here.
Yeah.
And congratulations to the two speakers. These look like very promising technologies. And I have a couple of questions. One is I would like to see the science behind the studies proving that there's a clinical impact. If there's any independent research studies, that would be very interesting to see. But the question also is, I wanted to go back to Arturo's question and to understand better what was the social innovation. What kind of engagement was happening to change processes, to work with the community, to make things work different. So I think the technological aspect of the innovation is very clear and it's very impressive. But I want to better understand beyond consultations with some expert clinicians is whether there was a social change, or there was an engagement on how these technological innovations would be deployed or used to change a pervasive problem. And so I would insist a little bit on that aspect of your question, if they can go deeper into that. And thank you.
Thank you, Luis Gabriel.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nishan.
Yeah, thanks, Gabriel. Thanks for your wishes. What I understood from your question is, like, technology aspect is clear. We need to comment on the social aspect. Am I right? Yeah. So, from the start itself, the technological solutions, that are offered by us are suited for the last mile use. So we take care of that. Our device do not, need separate facilities to maintain them, are easy to use. So even a trained healthcare professionals can use them and offer rapid diagnosis within 10 minutes. So some of our clients have used our devices in the remotest villages as part of diabetic camps. So the four major USPs that we target in building our products, one is that there should be requirement of minimal training that need to be required. The second is that the device should produce the report in less than 10 minutes. And third, there should not be any extra resources that need to be required by the professional to conduct this kind of screening. And the fourth is history need to be preserved for those patients so as to better diagnose in the near future.
Ria? So maybe before you answer, Ria, Nishant, the first question is about the independent studies. Did we have any reports on that?
So we have conducted 2 studies other than the literatures that are currently available on the internet itself, but these 2 studies will be published within I think next 2 to 3 months, but we have data on file for that.
Okay, Ria?
So for us, we have done a lot of internal studies with regards to first the validation of the product that we are creating, the signal that we are able to capture with our electronics. So we've done a lot of internal studies by comparing our data against a gold standard device that's used in the hospitals for almost more than 40-50 people. And not only that, we've partnered with one of the best research centers, be it IIT Mandi, be it IIT Gandhinagar, be it IISc, or be it even NIMHANS, who are doing partnership studies with us. A comparison study of our product, a validation study in the clinical setup is being done by a researcher in IISc for the stroke monitoring, which I was mentioning. And that currently also in the works. It's been 1 year since we commercially launched the product. And since we are a wellness product for self-improvement, for me to be able to reach out to the end consumer in a B2C manner, we don't require validation studies per se to be published. But yes, we have validation and correlation database and reviews and feedbacks and customer experiences basically to move ahead with the commercialization. But for me to enter into a space where it's used for monitoring of neurological conditions, we are working on the clinical studies for the same.
Thank you, Ria. Can you comment on the second question about the social innovation aspect of your technology and the company? I think you already mentioned some of them earlier on, but yeah.
For us now, as I mentioned, like when it comes to mental health, mental well-being, there is so much lack of awareness that there is. People still know the disadvantages of eating a lot of sugar and glucose could be eventually having diabetes, and they know that they should monitor their glucose levels because it's something that may or may not be genetic for their scenario. But when it comes to mental health and mental well-being, there is no awareness whatsoever. People don't even know that there is an electrical signal in your brain. People don't know. There is a lot of stigma around this. So I feel it is our responsibility as the first movers in Asia to create awareness about mental health, mental well-being, depression, or anything being a neurological, let's say, symptom or a sign. And it's nothing that is not, it's not something that you are, let's say, just diagnosed with, or it's your fault. It is something that you don't have initially a control over it. And any person could develop a neurological condition or a symptom such as stress and chronic pain, or let's say memory loss. So for us, we believe that it is our job to create this awareness and self-acceptance, where when people go to a psychotherapist, they don't feel hesitant to share that with their family or with their friends because it's something stigmatized and you're supposed to be mentally fit, but somehow you are not, and it's taken as something that of a shame rather than something of strength where you are seeking help to be the best version of yourself. So for us, I think that part of being able to bring the change and remove the stigma around mental health, that don't use the word mental health, use the word brain training, is something that we are working very hard towards.
Thank you very much, Nishant and Ria. But I suppose, in addition to your comments and feedback, so if you may, Luis Gabriel, I think this is just my 2 cents. The way I see it, I suppose it's the network that they build over time while developing the technologies. So, for example, the pharma companies, the healthcare institutions that they partnered with. So for both Nishant and Ria, for new brain training and Neuphony of Ria, and for Diabetic foot of Nishant, I think they sort of build a network where one information can be passed on to another set of facilities, providing that network care, if you may. So I suppose that is like social innovation in the background. They may not be aware of it from Ria and Nishant in a very explicit manner, but that's how I think is the social innovation aspect of both these technologies. What do you think, Luis Gabriel? I would happy to hear your thoughts as well.
Oh no, I agree. I think that there might have been some social innovation, but it's not being clearly explained to me. At least I think the focus is on the technological innovation, and I'm very interested in learning is how did you engage with community members to co-create a process or a solution to a problem. And so I have heard the story, the very compelling stories behind the motivation. But I think that the elements of the community engagement perhaps are not as strongly presented as the technological aspect. And that's why I was pressing a little bit on that, because this is a forum for social innovation.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Luis Gabriel, for your feedback. There's a question in the chat box from Catherine from WHO TDR. So the question is about, am I right in assuming that the VIBRASENSE is a medical device and Neuphony is a wellness product, but not registered as a medical device? Can you answer that?
Yes. So, the goal that we have created for Neuphony is to build a smartwatch for your brain. So like your smartwatch gives you early biomarkers and warnings and symptoms of your physical health, where you monitor your blood pressure and your, let's say, heart rate, but it's not a diagnostic product. We are trying to create the same preventive device for your brain health. And yes, you are right. We are a wellness product. First, eventually hoping to move and develop medical products in 2 to 3 years.
Nishant?
Yes, adding to this, VIBRASENSE is a medical device. It's classified as class 1 device as per European medical device rules. So we have followed all the protocols that are required to commercialize one medical device. We are ISO 13485. Also, we have gone through ISO 14971, other risks and other mitigations that are required for a medical device.
Thank you, Nishant and Rina. I mean, we only have 4 minutes left. They might some other questions, but
just
a final question.
Arthur, wanted to add on the last comment that since this is both VIBRASENSE and even if I talk about Neuphony also. So these are social innovation, but we are also a private limited company. So we have commercialization factor also, but we always, plan to partner with the more and more government bodies, NGOs and telemedicine companies, that are working to provide healthcare services to reach more, underserved communities also. So presently we are working with a couple of government institutions that cater to the underserved sections of the population, but we are also planning to establish more such partnerships, and we are also working with few NGOs who are using our devices in the remote locations and economical weaker sections, serving the economical weaker section. And also we have seen our partnership with few telemedicine companies also, which help us reach more people who have poor access to healthcare. So we aim to increase such, and we are looking for more such partnership as part of social innovation.
Thank you, Nishan. Maybe as a final question for me is, what are your sustainability plans and and then what's the roadmap in scaling up these two technologies that you presented?
Yeah.
Probably next 3 to 5 years. Yeah.
So we have reached a stage, where we are able to cover a significant part of our operational expenses from sale of existing products. We have been also successful in getting a few grants and also have raised a few rounds of angel investment. Now we are looking for our pre-series round of $1 billion. So with these investment, we hope to scale up our sales to reach a self-sustainable stage in near future also.
Ria?
So for us, we were bootstrapped for 1 year, and then we raised funding of almost 300K from medtech and biotech incubators in India and from angel investors. And now we are raising a pre-series A round of $1 million, where we have 60 to 65% already committed from angel investors, and hoping to close the other 35% from angels and VCs and strategic investors.
Thank you very much again, Ria and Nishan. All the best in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Jagan, any final thoughts, maybe, or words before we
So
close?
I'd like to thank you for this wonderful opportunity, right? And even both the speakers for giving us insight, like, so what are the how they overcome, and then what they are trying to solve in the healthcare sector, right, broadly. And once again, I thank you, the speaker, and then the SIHI network.
All right. So thank you very much again to our participants. If you have any other questions, you can type it in the chat box. Maybe we can accommodate one before we officially end the webinar. Anyone else who would like to ask a question?
So maybe anybody wants to get connected with them, maybe we can also they can also reach out to us. So I will do the connecting part.
Thank you. So if there's no question, thank you very much again for your active participation, and see you in the next SIHI talks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.